what I think it means is we need to rethink ask the question and rethink is what is the definition of good hay for horses? And good hay for horses is not the green, leafy, high nutrient density stuff. In my opinion, good hay for horses is a hay that the horse can eat as much of it as it wants, that is nutritionally suitable and capable for that horse to maintain an appropriate body weight. So instead of buying the really nice looking stuff, we actually need to go and look at lower quality, lower nutritional quality, still well made, but lower nutritional quality hay as being our definition of good hay for a horse that's like this. And at one end of this, we have straw. So straw is like celery for horses, lots of chewing and no calories. And straw got demonized at one stage about 15 years ago because there was a study that showed that if straw was the only roughage available, it increased the risk of both squamous and glandular disease. But what we're starting to see is a push back and say, what if we mix straw in with hay and we use it as part of the diet? And straw's not very popular in the US. It's not used a heap in Australia, but it's really common in Europe and widely used. And many of these European warm bloods that were imported to the US grew up on straw, and it's been part of their day-to-day lifestyle and management. And they've learned to use it as an alternative roughage source. But what we're looking at here is when we put straw into the diet as a 50-50 blend, there's no increased risk of squamous disease. There's no increased risk of glandular disease. And we saw the same thing in our horses in our Danish study, where straw was a component of the diet, and even horses that were seen to be eating straw do not necessarily have an increased risk of disease. In fact, if anything, it potentially might reduce disease for other factors. Our blended straw diets, our straw on the left, our control on the right, day 1 and day 7. And what we're looking at is chew rates. And again, chewing is the natural protection mechanism, and there's no difference in chew rates. Horses are chewing the same amount. But what's really interesting is when we look at consumption, what we start to see is the consumption, the control diet, the horses are eating that 1.5 up to 2% body weight per day when they're given free choice hay. When we mix that as a straw hay blend, we get down to a voluntary consumption of about 1% body weight per day. Now, there's exceptions to this, but exceptions shouldn't set our baseline standards for health management and for welfare. And so what we have now is horses that are voluntarily consuming less of a low-calorie diet. So that's a real welfare positive because they're choosing to consume less. They're not searching behavior. Of a low-calorie diet, which is good for weight loss. Less of a low-calorie diet's even better, while maintaining chew cycles and while maintaining no increased gastric disease risk. So it's a win when we can use it appropriately. And it really starts making us rethink the idea of what is good roughage.